They may have saved themselves from the nightmare quarter with an announcement about a Middle Eastern theme park coming to them at no cost whatsoever, but the details behind the scenes, folks, could be even more interesting. Today, we're going to give you a look behind the curtains at what was happening as Disney apparently rushed with all the speed they could muster to bluster investors into a big-time hype, the kinds of which we think might not be right. We'll explain why Abu Dhabi Disney just might be a little scammy. Hello, folks, and welcome back. It is a pleasure to have you come our way where we explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and we do so with the kind of joy that the Holly Weirds simply do not know, at least not many of them. But folks, we are many here, and we're not making an acolyte reference. No, we would never. Folks, click the like button, and let's get to the truth with a capital T. Different viewpoints on this one, and we'll debate them right now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we do this, I just want you to know that we're not going to be speaking like attorneys. So don't hold us to that, okay? We're going to have a little bit of, this is going to be more colloquial when I say scammy. But to the average person out there, it might feel a little scammy. We'll explain. Theme Park Insider beat us to the punch. Darn you, Theme Park Insider. Robert Niles did a good job on this, okay? We were trying to actually get this out. Jonas can confirm that I was telling what I was hearing behind the scenes. And Robert Niles beat us to publication. And all credit goes over here to Theme Park Insider. Check it out. This is a post about the Abu Dhabi announcement. And as you all know, that announcement seems to have saved Bob Iger's keister at a time when we all thought, oh no, Disney is in it for it now. They came out and said, hey, we got a free theme park. No, seriously, that's what they said. They came out and they said, we got a free theme park. This other company's going to build it for us, and we get to make money off of it. It's our 7th Disney resort, and we don't have to do a single thing except say thank you. And that's what they did. They went to the UAE and said, thank you very much. All right, Robert Niles has the story on this, and this is really interesting. It says, let's do the insider thing and talk about my crazy week. It says it actually started April 30th when I received an email from Miral's press relations agency. Miral is the company that's building this thing, inviting me to a celebration of Miral's 15th anniversary on Yas Island in Abu Dhabi in 5 days. And what do we have here in this article? This is what really matters. Jonas, the earnings call was on May 7th. The signature, the signing of the deal, the contract between Disney and Miral for this theme park, April 29th, which means they had about 8 days from the time they signed it until they announced it and until they made this all known. But that's not all, folks. That's not all. It says, my friend also voiced his suspicion that this was to be a Disney announcement under the guise of a Miral anniversary event, which is how they hid this from all of us. I had known for years that landing Disney as a partner was the ultimate goal of Miral. But every destination in the world wants to work with Disney, so that is not anything unusual. I reached out to one of my Disney reps on a bit of fishing expedition to see if I could get a denial of any involvement in the Abu Dhabi event. Instead, I got what amounted to a confirmation to be held under embargo until the official announcement released, time of 4 p.m. Wednesday on Abu Dhabi time. Abu Dhabi do time. Goes on to talk about the situation here and goes on to talk about how the people showed up for this statement 8 days after the contract was signed, and they held Bob Iger until the very, very last minute. It says, and with that, all was confirmed to everyone in the room. Disney Abu Dhabi was real. After the presentation, it was a rush to finish my story and upload video to be ready for publication at 4 p.m. Okay, we got all that, right? Well, folks, what if we told you that what feels a little scammy to us is the concept art? Now, yes, I know that they had been working on getting a deal done for years and years and years from Miral, but the actual deal was not done until 8 days before they made this announcement. Let's go to the concept art now. And the article we're reading is from Marvin Montanaro over on That Park Place. Disneyland Abu Dhabi will be mostly indoors to battle the heat of the desert. I want to show you the concept art. Look how green and lush it is. And I've had questions about this. Look how Disney-fied it is. Look, you can, they have it set so it kind of looks like there are roller coasters. What if I told you it's all nonsense? This thing is going to be mostly indoors, apparently. Miral is building it. That dramatically shrinks how big this is going to be. And so when Bob Iger comes out and says this is Disneyland level big, and that's how they convince the investors to go along with this, folks, I think this is total nonsense. I think this concept is just something that was thrown out there to make investors really happy. And in fact, what we're getting is an indoor theme park, which will be very small and not comparable to any of the other Disney resorts out there, but an indoor theme park built on a man-made island. And I don't think it's going to have any relationship to the concept. I want to go to the panel now. Start with Jonas. Jonas, does it matter? Like, can Disney just put out this kind of concept art and present it to investors at an earnings call? And it's okay if it looks nothing like what we're finding out behind the scenes this is going to be?
I would say that yes, that is fine because they're going to get away with it.
Legally, it's fine, but ethically, it's gray.
Well, yeah. So there's so much about this. First of all, they presented it as if it's their 7th theme park complex, and that they did a bunch of research and all this stuff, and they're presenting a story more than, because in the end, Disney fails to connect with any other audience other than shareholders when they say that they're a storytelling company. They presented something on the call that would make it seem like they scouted this location and they were working on all of this and that before they decided on putting this out at Yas Island. The things that I know from my sources is that there is a company out there in the Middle East, specifically the United Arab Emirates, that when they call, first of all, the checks don't bounce, and they expect your attention whenever they call. So just so everybody knows what we're talking about here, they have a SeaWorld out there that is also completely indoors. And I do believe the WB theme park is completely indoors out there. Ferrari World famously is under a big Ferrari-themed canopy out there at Yas Island. This is a place where they know what they're doing as far as theme parks out there. Yes, they are in the middle of the desert. By the way, they're about an hour out of Dubai, but everybody forgive us if we accidentally switch between Dubai and Abu Dhabi here. This is like the difference between Orlando and Winter Haven. Like, who cares? This is a company that they said, we will pay you if you allow us to do this. And the question was, how much? And Disney needs cash. They need a win. They have no response to Epic Universe. And so they pretend like this is a response to Epic Universe. So the low information diet people over there at Wall Street say, oh, yes, they're building a theme park. This is fantastic. The company must be doing great. And then move along to the next company that is here. It's all smoke and mirrors, or a mirage, to use the more appropriate analogy.
A mousy mirage. Folks, I want to show you something else. We're going to get some proof up here on the screen. Are you ready? Take a look at this. We're going to go back to the Theme Park Insider for a minute. This is a paragraph you need to see. It says, within a day, this is the author again, within a day, I heard from a friend in the UAE who has been on Miral press events with me in the past. Asking around, we confirmed that we were not last-minute additions to a long-planned press event. This one really was coming together at the last minute. An observation that Miral's press agency representatives confirmed after we arrived in Abu Dhabi. What does that mean? Well, what it means is that Disney, in the midst of their nightmare quarter, facing perhaps angry shareholders, and we were covering how bad this could have gone, Disney secretly signed a contract with Miral, and a press release coinciding with their earnings call was hurriedly put together as fast as they could, rushed into existence. Concept art was put out there that may not resemble at all what this theme park is going to look like. In fact, it now looks like it's complete nonsense. You know, I'm not a legal expert on this. I'm not a Disney investor. I don't have any stocks in Disney. But I have to say that it makes me a little queasy, the idea that Disney's stock may have been influenced by concept art that has no bearing to anything related to what might be going on there. Vash, do you have video of the promo stuff? I want people to see in 8 days what they put together. Matt, I know you're not necessarily a theme park guy, but what do you make of the idea that Disney, as a company, in 8 days threw together a huge announcement licensing their properties into the Middle East, maybe to save their keisters, because they were facing Thunderbolts and Snow White and Captain America Brave New World responses, and it was not looking good for them?
Well, there's some geopolitical like meta view stuff that I think kind of plays into this, which is basically Trump just got back from, or not got back, he's still there, basically doing this whirlwind kind of like ambassadorial tour of the Middle East. And he specifically hit Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, all this stuff. And it was announced that, they're going to be, the Saudi families are going to be investing up to $600 billion into America. And Disney's part of that. And I think that basically Trump laid the groundwork for a lot of these deals before he arrived there. And this was probably an offshoot of that, where this government, the people who run it, the Saudi families, those types of people who just have more money than God, probably already had Disney on their radar as like, okay, this is part of what our investment's going to be for this deal that Trump is negotiating, essentially. And obviously, like there's other stuff involved, like with the Iran nuclear deal and things of that nature. Trump basically getting allies in that region to kind of put pressure on the bad actors. But I personally believe, and I don't have anything to back this up, that the deal that Trump struck with the United Arab Emirates and all the royal families and stuff out there for this huge investment in America was probably why they pulled the trigger on this. And Disney might not have been expecting it, or they might have been anticipating it, but they didn't know if Trump was going to be able to pull it off. But I'm pretty sure that that's like the United States negotiating with the Middle East for investment in not only American ideals, but also American companies and stuff like that, is a direct like lead up to what happened here with Disney. So ironically, Bob Iger can thank Trump for saving his bacon.
Vash, can you go back to where we've got the portal on the ocean okay, actually, play that again. Go back to that animation. I want people to understand something. Disney had this earnings call. They signed the contract with Miral 8 days before it, planned a trip for all of their corporate leadership to get over there. A giant portal on the ocean was built. They got all these people over here for promo. An animation had to be made with this giant runestone gem thing. All of this was done apparently in 8 days to get ready for the earnings call to save the day, because they were looking at what we were looking at. Look at that. They built this in 8 days. You talk about, there must have been a panic at Disney looking at their financials and saying, oh my gosh, pull the trigger. We have got to get this theme park announcement out there now. And they could have done it, by the way. They could have done it with ESPN. They held ESPN. They didn't want to have ESPN be the thing. They held ESPN for a week. So something was telling them that was a weak offering, and that announcing another theme park. And for those out there who say, Pro, how didn't you get this one this time? How is it? You scoop this stuff from Disney, but they got an entire theme park out from under you. Folks, I'm sorry, but when another theme park company builds a theme park and they sign a contract with Disney 8 days before to license the stuff onto the theme park, we don't have spies inside the UAE, and we wouldn't try to do that either. But that's how they pulled this off. You got to give it to them on this. This was Herculean in pulling this off in 8 days.
That's exactly how they pull it off without anybody knowing. But if you've been watching this space, you know that Disney has been kicking the tires, let's say, on a theme park in the UAE for quite some time. And indeed, we have documentation going back to 2014 from leaks in which Disney was being courted by the UAE in order to set up a theme park in Dubai. We know that Universal attempted to do this, and then right at the last minute, they actually cut that deal. This has been a developing space, and to key off of what Matthew was actually saying, the UAE has been trying to diversify its economic output, right? They understand that there's going to be an era in which oil is not going to be the trade of the world, let's say, in the same way it is now.
Go ahead. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm in awe. Go back, Vash. Go back to where they've got the drone show.
Yep.
Jonas, how did they do this in 8 days? I mean, I know that people are doing work up to the contract signing, but until you sign the contract, you don't know that you can spend like this.
Well, Theme Park Insider does actually note that he was the only U.S. reporter reporting on this because everybody just could not book a flight out there fast enough. A lot of the people that were invited had to drop out. This was very, very last minute. But go ahead, Jonas. What were you going to say?
No, I think that Theme Park Insider, and forgive me for saying this, I don't mean to insult Robert Niles, is assuming that because he didn't know, he means no one knows. He thinks no one knows.
Uh-oh, Jonas, you've created a conflict. We now have a new arch nemesis?
No, I just don't think he knew about it. This is something that, I don't know the exact date that it was serious, but I'm sure, for reasons that I don't want to reveal here, that Yas Island was fully aware of what they wanted to do here for longer than Disney maybe would have been aware of what they wanted to do here. There might have been things that were already going on, like an arranged marriage that a expatriate finds out about when they go for a homeland visit.
Oh, wait a minute, Jonas, you're saying that this was like a wedding, and that Disney maybe for years had not wanted to go to the wedding, and that when they got desperate, it was time to marry up, and they already had the ceremony stuff ready to go.
I'm just saying that people out at Yas Island might have already been aware of this for quite some time, and under the pretense that it was going to happen. Okay. And maybe no insult to Robert Niles, but assuming that no one knows because you didn't know is not a good strategy.
Well, folks, you've got perspectives from all over that we're giving you right now, and that's why we love doing this, is to make sure that you get all angles. Go ahead, Vash.
Well, I want to go ahead and key in on Jonas's point here, because the deal itself, right? With Yas Island setting up for Disney to come in and to arrange a meeting with them and to develop a theme park with them. I think that had been the plans for a while, but Disney signing on the dotted line, I think that's the part that came in a little bit last minute. I just because the timing otherwise doesn't make sense. I mean, 20 years and now, of all quarters, at all times, at all days, now is when you actually do this. And they signed a deal on 29th, and they have it in time for the Q2 earnings call. It's just very, very, very strange how that all played out right here. And to underscore Pro's point about the relationship and how this dynamic will actually work, Josh D'Amaro recently spoke at the Moffett-Nathanson conference, in which the same one he actually said that Epic's going to be a boon for Walt Disney World. Very interesting stuff there. He says this: we control all of the creative, and we leverage our expertise. Morale will fund, build, and operate the product with significant oversight from us, i.e. this is a Tokyo LLC deal, essentially 2.0.
That's what they're saying. I'm not so sure. I get why they would say it, and there's lots of wiggle room in the language. I think Morale is far more in control than even OLC on this, because the way the government works over there and the way the private businesses work over there are not the same as in Tokyo. And so I just, I think the UAE even controls this more than Disney would like to say. And by the way, again, that concept art down there, don't put any stock into it other than the icon in the middle. Don't put any stock into it, because this is going to be an indoor park. And I know on their little maps that they make of Disney World and Disneyland, if there's a parking lot, or a warehouse behind a facade, they cover it in green on the map and make it look like it's a forest back there. I get all that. I just think when you're putting out concept art, and you're going to do an indoor theme park in a desert, that making it look lush and green is a little bit misleading. I don't think that's what's happening at all with Disney Sand Resort. And folks, let the credits roll for this one. Well, it is in the bank. We are done here. We're over and out. But before we go, there's one thing we must shout to you, and we do it in the kindest way possible. Folks, it would be such a pleasure if you could consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and that notification bell. Click it, stick it to the algorithms. You bet. Don't forget also, as you get ready to leave, drop a comment down below if you have not yet, for we would love to know what's on your mind. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. Join a community dialogue. Folks, as we get ready to leave, we say to you, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and no matter what the world might do or what your station might be, up or down, you keep having fun.
Hey, Floral, guess what?
You put a fork in Pro's microwave again.
No, that was yesterday.
I don't know that what.
Oh, I've decided to give up on torturing Jonas.
What? Why? In the same way the cat sleeps like 20 hours a day, that was like your purpose.
I know, but I've decided there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay.
Like Lorne. I mean, think about it. Everybody loves him. He's a fan favorite, and frankly, he has almost no weaknesses I can find. Except that he's really smart.
So, you want to annoy the one panelist without a single flaw, because he's smart.
Yeah, like that winged statue at that fancy Paris museum thingy. I want to break the one thing that everyone loves most.
So, kind of like the opposite of Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to see her all the time at family reunions anyway.
You get to see Rachel Zegler?
Yeah. I mean, she's a total troll. Lives under a bridge, harasses billy goats, the whole 9 yards.
It all makes sense now.
Speaking of which, maybe she'll get me... I'm gonna call her on my... I'm gonna call her and see if she'll be in the next Indiana Jones. She should be the next Indiana Jones. That'll totally destroy Lord. He loves Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, Rach. I've got a cool idea for you that involves a whip and snakes.
I love that description. It's perfect.
I know, right? Weird, as we always say.